This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hi everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Now today I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm actually going to review something. And I have put close to 20 hours into this and shot two different videos that were over 40 minutes trying to explain what I think of this game. We are talking about Descent, Legends of the Dark. This is very split. There's either people that absolutely love it or people that are absolutely dead set against it. And you kind of wonder why this happens, and I have my reasons. You know, apps do not have a great history with board games or with computers. Board games don't have a good thing with video games. You can look at Eye of Judgment from the PlayStation 2. Adventures of Yoho, I think it was a pirate game that you used your actual phone as the ship. And it was actually pretty cool, but it only worked on certain things and it crashed all the time, and we finally got rid of it. And then, of course, there was this disaster, which we're going to talk all about in another video, Golem Arcana, which reminds me a lot of what we have here, because you want to know something right now? If you wanted to play this, and you know, this company, Harebrained Schemes, raised over $500,000, and then after a year or two, shut down the app. And then as iOS has evolved, guess what? You can't play it anymore. So all you got is a pile of plastic. Now, this game got off to a bad start. I'm not going to talk about, you know, explain gameplay. You can really take a look at that. And after 19 hours plus, and now filming this a couple times, I'm not going to sit here and explain the game, but I'm going to talk about the good things and the bad things. To the point that I actually had a conversation and actually took a phone call from one of our subscribers, because is a long-time subscriber, and he got kind of snarky in the comments a little bit. And I went, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, Dan Uso, I'm going to call you out. You know, you've been a friend of mine. What's going on? And we had about a 2-hour discussion on Sunday night. And I took all the stuff that he took and decided to take a look at it even longer on Monday and most of Tuesday. I had a video up. It's 40 minutes. I'm taking it down because I was thinking, and I wanted to even add more thoughts in a smaller amount of time. But you know, the funny thing is, we talked, and I want to give a huge compliment, because Rob's game table, I think it is. I don't know him too much. I think we. He does a very, very, very good job. I just don't watch his videos, and that's not a bad thing. I just don't have time. One-man show here. He and his wife unboxed it and played it for 7 hours, and Dan, who was dead set against it, because of this fantastic gameplay that Rob did, and his wife, changed his mind. But the things that he changed his mind about were some of the things that I was like, no, wait a minute, hold on here. How does this work? So it really kind of became this whole thing where we kind of went back and forth, but you know, I could see his points and he could see mine. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to go down to the table real quick, and I want to kind of explain a couple things and let you know where I think, and then I'm going to come back and then we're going to talk in depth, and then I'll give my final thoughts on this, and really talk about Fantasy Flight, where they messed up, and you know, and also some of the really good things that they did, because there are good things in here. Okay, and remember, and if you look on BGG, because listen, you know the BGG ratings are completely out of whack anyways, but for this one I think actually kind of works. The funny thing is, the people that are so passionate about it are throwing 10s at it. Okay, that means there's no other game that's better in the world. That's what you're saying when you give something a 10. And then there's people that are throwing 1s at it. People that have not played this game yet, okay? Or had not played the game, okay? Which was one of the things that people kept on saying in the comments of the videos when I was just pointing out things. If people actually watched the videos I did, I was saying, I want this game to be great. I'm not going to make a judgment until I get this in my hands. And I am bringing it in. I'm not passing judgment. But some of the things that they did were just not good, okay? And how they handled this. And I pointed that out and put it to you, and people got defensive. It's the internet. That's what happens. But the people that scored this as a 1 are saying that this is the worst game of all time. How can that be? You're saying that this is the worst game? This is worse than the Cthulhu Monopoly game? Really? I don't agree with both. And we'll see why. Let's go down to the table and let's talk about some of the great things about this game and some of the things that you'll see why I feel the way I do. As you can see here, I have the app open, okay, and then, you know, I got the first initial setup here. I didn't put the tokens in, and there's a reason for that. You know, you're going to run everything off. The thing I want to say is they made these out of a nice hard plastic, and you get a better mold out of these. These are tremendous miniatures. They're not GW quality, but I'll tell you something, they're pretty close, and I really admire them for really upping their game here. But are they needed? That's the question. I think the only thing that you really need is this and your dice and stuff, and a couple of cards, because everything's done here. My point, my hardest point here, and I really want to hit this home, is that as you could see, you have everything here, okay? And we're going to hit that, okay? So it becomes the hero phase, okay? And basically, the only thing that the terrain is used for is to move the miniature. And when they put the enemies on, which I'll show you in a second, do you really need all that terrain? Because your focus goes from here to here, where you do everything, because you're not doing here. Okay? All you're doing is making the movements here. But everything is focused here. So 75% of the game is on an app. So is this really needed? I don't feel that way. Because even here, you can go, well, all right, I'm just going to move him here. And he's going to go over and he's going to look at this. Then you move that token. And as you can see, more stuff comes up. Well, you can do the same thing on graph paper. Okay? Or I've already pre-drawn this, okay? Or you can just draw this, okay? Poor drawing, but it's just used for with a dry erase marker, okay, which you can use. All right, and you could just do this, okay? Well, there's more here. I can go up. It goes up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it goes over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it comes down 2. Okay, fine. And then there, and then there. And there, I've already been able to draw this, and I can continue on, and if I want to, I can color this in, or I can take graph paper. It does the same thing. And did you need these? No, you could have got away with standees, for crying out loud. Heck, you can even just draw your character and use different colors. Come up into here. Now, when you do that and you get it laid out, well, you put a tree. Okay, there's a tree there. Okay, fine. That's fine too. Now, people are going to say, well, no, it takes away from the immersion. Well, the immersion isn't here. All this is glorified terrain in a way. And it takes away from the board game, because all the immersion that you want is right here. Okay? Because you're constantly just doing things. And you're going to put your bad guys. Well, you can use a color for this guy here. Okay? And then continue. And then you can use another color for this dude right here. All right, which is actually here where I didn't draw. Okay, you don't need the miniatures. It's almost like overkill, because the app does so much for you. Okay, and then even if you're thinking, okay, this sounds a battle, blah 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 blah, so forth and so on. Defeat your enemies. Okay, continue. You know, when you go and fight here, all right, are you focused on your fight here? If I move up to this guy over here, no, my focus isn't on everything that's here. My focus comes here. All right, well, I want to attack this guy. All right, and I want to use this. What you really need is your card here, because that's going to help you decide which weapon you're going to use. And there's some cards here, but not a lot. And you're going to come over here, you're going to roll your dice, and depending on how many hits, let's just say we hit him for 7 times just so we can kill him. Boom! All right, everything is done here. That's one of the great things about this. But a video game does the same thing. It really does. And we're going to continue, and then we would remove that model. Or, if we wanted to, just kind of erase it from here. So, I get this. And where you can interact with the tree. Well, yeah. Where are you interacting with the tree? Are you interacting with the tree here? And drawing a card and feeling the board game immersion? Or are you doing everything from the app? And that is where my problem lies with this. Okay? Is that you don't know where to keep your eyes, really. And let's not even get into when you play multiplayer, because I had my son come over on Sunday, and he took a character, I took a character, and I had this in front of me. Unless you got a dongle here to put it up on a big screen, you kind of lose immersion all the way around. You're looking at terrain that really doesn't tell you anything that much, okay? Because the app tells you everything. Now, in fairness to the app does a lot of great things. And you know, I had heard that it crashed. I haven't had it crash once. Not once. So it's done very well. It's very smart. Well, let's pick the fruit, or let's climb the tree. Okay, now you would test your might. Okay, again, you're looking here and here. Not here. Okay, you're not taking and climbing any tree. Okay. All right, so it's here, and this is just eye candy. Because this can be done on graph paper or on laminate like I have here. And that's where I kind of have this thing. And I'll explain more when we go up top. And I want to say some good things about this. And I also want to say some okay things about this. So let's go up top and get my continue with my thoughts here. Now, as you saw, you know, you don't need... the thing is, with all that beautiful terrain, you should be more immersed there. Journeys into Middle-earth, I'm cutting it short, okay, takes that app, and it takes all the things from Journeys to Middle-earth and uses them, but it takes it too far over the line. Well, where Journeys is like 45%, and you're still immersed into the game and the board and your figures and stuff like that, because you're doing everything there. You're making all your moves there, okay, and you're doing all your fighting down here by turning the cards and trying to get successes, and your deck building, and you're kind of figuring out where you want to go, and then you use the app to supplement it and tells a really great story. This story wasn't that good, okay, so far. Now, I went through and played the initial stuff a couple of times to make sure that I wasn't missing something. Your interactions, even though you go up to something and it's 3D and it looks fantastic, you go, all right, great. But then you have to take your attention and bring it to the app. When you go into town, it has nothing to do with anything out there. It's all on the app. The app is 75% of this game. And one of the things that Dan said to me, and he goes, well, you know, it keeps track of everything. Well, a video game keeps track of everything. All right? Here's the real problem I have with Fantasy Flight, okay? Number one, when they did that playthrough, they did a huge injustice to this game because they did not showcase this game the way it should have been. And instead of taking a little bit of money and going to Rodney, going to One Shop Co-op, going to Tom, or going to this Rob who I bet you he sold a bunch of these games, okay? Because from what I've heard, he's done a fantastic job. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I heard, you know, this is a guy that really excels at doing live stuff. And when you can put it up on the big screen, it really streams very, very well. If it's done really, really well. And I believe that Rob and his wife did a fantastic job, okay? Because of the way Dan had gushed over it. And hats off to him, because the guy sat there and he did an assembly video, and then he did like 7, maybe 15 hours of playing the game live. That's what this game needed. Not some guy who played it for 3 hours and go, well, I don't see where all the criticism comes, and the video came out Friday night. Because here's the thing, okay, and I want to go even further with that. Where Fantasy Flight, where did you do any justice to the people that were able to get this almost a week and a half early? Because all they had in front of them was a box of cardboard and plastic. Because they couldn't do a doggone thing without this app. And that's the shame of it. There should be some rules that you can be immersed in that 3D terrain, because it's beautiful. And people complain about this art. Listen, I have no problem with this art. I have no problem with this art whatsoever. Okay? You know, when you have hand-painted art, of course you're going to go, oh my God, that's beautiful. Okay? That's fantastic. But the art doesn't make the game. The game, whether it can pull you in and drag you in. And I think there's two sides to this for people, okay? That they're pulled in by this app. You know, some people don't mind apps and are from that video game age. Hell, I was at the very beginning with Pong, okay? And the Odyssey, and then the Atari, and then the Intellivision. And I've seen it all the way through. My PC, my Amiga, all this stuff. And I've played millions of games, okay? I don't mind apps. I'm going to bring up a game called Destiny when I was really sick. I took the time and I painted it all, okay? And then I played it live here. And then I played it some more and more. And then all of a sudden it hit me. Why did I paint all these miniatures? Why do I have to lay out all these tiles? Okay? Everything's right here on this app. Now the story sucked me in. This story isn't as good as Destiny's. Now, is this a bad game? Is this a game worth me putting my shoe in my mouth and eating my shoelaces? No. No. All the fears that I had of it have come to light. And I'm going to talk about Fantasy Flight and where they went wrong here. Okay? First of all, again, as I said, that bad playthrough, if they just took the time and went to a Rob's Game Table, went to a Rodney Smith, and had them show off this game, I don't think you would have half the hate that you have. If they did not, and this is the biggest mistake that Fantasy Flight made, they called it this instead of just taking and calling it this. Because if you called it the Realm of Teroth, okay, or Teroth Adventures, you wouldn't have got as much heat as you got, okay? Because they're a very passionate group out there from Series 1 of Descent, which I'm pointing to, and Series 2, that you cut it off and you're not making any more stuff for it. This Volume 1, we understand. Very, very old. Volume 2, people still wanted stuff. They still love this game. There are people that don't like the game, but there are people that are very passionate about this game. And then you decided to come out and go, hey, this is Descent, but it's not Descent. What the heck does that mean? You wonder why I made a video and go, what is this all about? This doesn't make sense. And I put it to you guys. And you guys some people took it as a hit piece. No, I'm asking a question. And if you watch those videos, and if you really watched them, and I know the people that didn't know that the people didn't, because there's people on the internet just start trouble. I said it a million times in 2 videos. I wanted this game to be great. I really do. And I think if you named it Teroth Adventures, I don't think you would have had the pushback. I think people would have been a little bit more open-minded. Because I don't mind apps, but when an app takes over and is 75% of the game, then it's not a board game. It's kind of a video game. It's a game that doesn't know what it wants to be. Because there's times when I'm moving on the 3D terrain and I'm going, yeah. And then, oh shoot, I gotta go over to the app. And then you do this. You start to get sucked in here, and then you're over here. And then you're like, well, why do I even have this here? I can just do all my immersion here. And then I get app fatigue. I'm going to compare this to something. I really want you to hear this, because I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, because I don't want this to be a 45-minute video. I love comic books. I love them as much as, and my whole life I collected them. I found a way through Marvel Unlimited and DC Infinite to have every comic book that I have on here and more. And I could sit here and read. And I like doing that. I really do. But it's not the same as holding that book in your hand. It's not the same. And that's where this kind of falls in here. I want to play on that 3D terrain. I want to be immersed. I don't want to turn my attention to an app. I want to turn over some cards and hold those cards. Oh, what a lucky draw. I ended up getting this and finding this. I don't want to find it on the app. I want to know what I have in front of me, so when I'm thinking when I'm going to town, what I can do. That's the other thing. When you go to town, and if you're playing with more than one person, oof. I mean, it's hard if you don't have the technology and you're playing on a phone and you're handing over to each other. It takes you out of the game. This game does a lot of good things. I do like how it thinks, because I play Shadows of Brimstones and I forget to use abilities and stuff like that, and you could set all that in there, and during combat it's done really well. It's fantastic. It's just boom boom boom. Okay, that's cool, he's done. Pull him off the board, or erase him. Which after a while, that's when I did. I just started using graph paper, and I use the laminate to save space and not so much time, but just to make it, okay, now I can just concentrate on this story in this app and find out what this is all about. I wished that they came out with rules without the app. If there was, and cards and stuff like that. Well, here, you could play this with or without, and give people a choice, because then that game would even be higher to me, okay? But it's not about the app. Okay, it's not the app, it's the app. It's the confusion of what this wants to be to me. And I think this is a good game. This is not a bad game. And when you start comparing to other games that have been created, okay, other dungeon crawls, okay, where does this line up? Okay, Warhammer Quest 95. I think that's better than this. Okay, Shadows of Brimstone. Now these are all my opinions. I think that's better than this. Okay, what's this better than? Well, I think it's better than Massive Darkness. I think it's better than Perdition's Mouth. I think it's better than a lot of games, but I don't think it's a higher tier dungeon crawl. It's middle of the road. It's a middle of the road. I think it's just above a middle of the road. I think the confusion. I think the way they should have never called this Descent. I think they should have come up with a different name and a different thing, and let people discover the game without causing controversy right off the bat. They thought, well, if we throw Descent on it, hey, that's going to make people even go to it even more. It's not Descent. It's not. It's not. And for me, I think that's kind of a deception in a way. And you could see why some people are angry, but I also see why people love this. And again, hats off to the people. I said it a little bit earlier, and I'm going to say it again. All the people that got this game when the app wasn't live, you saw 500 unboxings. We all know what's in there, but they wanted to get their videos up. But what you really had was a box you couldn't do anything with. And people go, oh, well, eventually I'll repurpose it. You're going to pay $200 to repurpose something? Come on. This is a good game, a solid game, but not a great game. It's everything I kind of felt it was going to be, but a little bit more. And when I said that if it did really, really bad, it would be the death of the franchise, it would have been. And it's not listen, it's selling, but it's not gangbusters. I know. I've seen the numbers. Okay, I know. And I think it'll do well. I really do. And you should make a decision on it. Don't take this old man's thing, because my problem is, and I really thought about this, I am really somebody out of time. Okay, somebody younger, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, would love this more if they have more of a console background a bit, or have played a lot of game apps on their iPad and integrated with a board game. It makes sense to them. That's why a lot of people are going, this is great. And then you got a lot of people that are going, oh man, this is horrible. You've taken away my board game experience. okay, and you made it a video game. I'm somewhere in the middle because I want to be impartial. And that's why I'm going to give this game a 6.8. I put a lot of time into this. I put a lot of thought into this video. Okay, I actually shot it a few times because I wanted to make sure that I was fair to both sides. I'm down the middle of the road here, okay? And if it wasn't for people like, you know, like Tom and Rob and other people that really bring out the best and showcase what this game to give you an informative decision so you can decide for yourself if you want to go purchase this. I'm giving you my view of it. And am I going to tell you not to go buy it? No, because I think a lot of you would like it. Am I going to tell you to go buy it? No, I'm not going to tell you that either, because I think there's a lot of you that would fight this and go, you know, a month from now, I'm not playing this. A year from now, 2 years from now, if Fantasy Flight gets swallowed up by atomic mass and they decide not to support any of these app games anymore and they take a different direction, does it end up like Golem Arcana? Then you've got a $200 box that you can't sell to anybody, okay? You can cull it, but you can cull it right in the garbage because you can't do anything with it. Then you can repurpose it, and then whatever miniatures. Miniatures are beautiful. The quality of the components are beautiful, okay? The art, I think, is fine, okay? But it loses me because it doesn't know... I don't know if it's a board game or a video game, and I get lost. And when I start to get sucked in and start, well, maybe it makes me go someplace else. And that's where I have a problem with it. I have a problem with it. And that's why it's not a bad game. It's a good game, okay? Just not a great game. It's everything kind of what I thought it would end up being. And that's why I'm glad if you listen to those other two videos, I really wanted this to be great, but it's not. It's middle of the road, just above middle of the road. Good. 6.8. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon. I look forward to your comments. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, that's okay, because I got a feeling there's going to be a split each way. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope this is informative. And again, this is just me being pure honest and how I feel. You may feel differently, and that's okay. That's okay. I hope the people that have this have the best time in the world with it, because the most important thing is to have fun with the game. And I'll say it again. A bad game is better than a bad day at work. All right? Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.